Alrighty, how's everybody doing? Positive and productive, I hope. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me. Do me a favor, share the content with friends, family, anybody that you think the content is relevant to. Remember, local elections are more important than national elections, but dollars are stronger than votes. They won't stop until we stop them. Liberation comes at a cost. Who's willing to pay for it? So just really quickly, this is for a buddy of mine, and we were just having a conversation about TikTok and X and various things of that nature. And, you know, I told him, I said, I don't have TikTok. I've been there before, but I've never had the TikTok app on my phone. And the culture there is not the type of culture for debating politically charged conversations and various things of that. And he was like, oh no, they do live conversations all the time. And it's the same thing you do on X and so forth and so on. Well, here's the breakdown. And this is how and why it differs. So the first thing I said is, can you explain the difference between debating on TikTok and debating on X and or Facebook? Debating on TikTok, formerly Twitter, differs significantly, and then it starts talking about the video formats and different things of that, right? So I said, so if debating on one of these platforms and was discussing a topic with various nuances, which platform is more likely to cut me off, shut me down, or skip to the next? TikTok is the platform more likely because, okay, rapid fire, the next skip. Okay, so now because they're talking about videos, right? So I had to change the question up. I said, what about in live rooms on TikTok and X Spaces? What about debating there? How does the audience perceive it then? TikTok live rooms are much more likely to abruptly shut you down, cut you off, or lose the audience's attention compared to X Spaces. While both formats shift the debate from pre-recorded content to real-time audio video, the structural design, audience expectations, and moderation styles create two completely different debate environments. TikTok live rooms, the high-stakes spectacle. TikTok live debates are highly visual, fast-paced, and gamified. They function more like reality TV or a boxing match than an intellectual forum. How you get cut off. Host control is absolute. If a host disagrees with your nuanced point, or if you take too long to get to the point, they can instantly mute you or kick you off the screen with one tap. The guest box, roulette. Debates usually happen via guest boxes where multiple people queue up because the queue is long. Hosts face intense pressure to rotate people out quickly to keep the energy high. Audience perception. The audience is there for maximum drama and entertainment. The fast-moving chat scroll makes it impossible to read long, nuanced counter-arguments. The audience rewards quick, aggressive gotcha moments and witty insults over slow structure logic. If you start explaining a complex historical or scientific nuance, the audience will actively spam emojis like, bored, Z, sleeping, signal the host to drop you. So that's generally what happens on TikTok when we're explaining stuff. People want argument. They want drama over there. They want a lot of gotchas. And people can say the same thing about X, but let's just read it. X Spaces, the panel discussion. X Spaces are audio only and operate like a live unscripted podcast or a town hall panel. They are built for longer form spoken dialogue. How you get cut off. While the host can still mute or remove you, the culture of X Spaces generally leans towards letting speakers finish a thought. Because there is no visual feed, the focus relies entirely on the verbal argument. Pacing for nuance. Spaces are designed to run for hours. Speakers are frequently given 2 to 3 uninterrupted minutes to lay out a complex thesis before the floor is open for a rebuttal. Audience perception. The audience is typically more politically or socially invested in the specific niche topic. They generally possess a higher tolerance for deep dives, policy breakdowns, and detailed data. Because listeners can minimize the space and read the speaker's pinned tweets or text threads simultaneously, the audience can fact check you in real time via X community notes or replies. The audience perceives a good debater as someone who is articulate, deeply knowledgeable, and capable of holding their ground verbally under cross-examination. And that's the main difference right there. So it's very similar. It's extremely similar. But here's the thing. On X, you can get 2 to 3 minutes to actually say what you have to say and explain your point. On TikTok, if you don't get to the point in about 30 seconds, they spam you and they drop you. So I can't even explain the point because it needs an explanation or a backstory behind it, and you can never get there because, like I said, generally speaking, they spam the chat and they drop you. I've noticed that, and a lot of people don't notice it because they're geared to emotional conversations and they're not geared to facts. They're geared to the people who made it sound good when they said it. I felt good when you said it, that it resonated with me. And I get it. It was boring when I just, well, according to the CDC and the data and 99 and blah, 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 and section 123 and paragraph 36 is like, nigga, I'm bored. I'm sleepy. Okay, I get it. But here's the thing. That's where the truth is. The truth isn't in, well, nigga, and your mama, and your motherfucker. That's not where the truth is at. The truth isn't there. And Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, we're at a place now where people say that there are multiple truths. I don't understand how or why we say that. So then you give them the hypothetical. Okay, so then if I say the chicken is for sale for $5.99 and you say the chicken isn't for $5.99, so then what is the truth, right? Oh, well, that's your truth. Is it my truth that the chicken is for sale for $5.99? And is it your truth that the chicken is for sale for $10.99? So we both have our truths. So when we get down to the Piggly Wiggly, which one is the truth? Which one? Well, you got your truth. I got my truth. No. Which one is the truth? Because if we present the scenario where you're saying A and I'm saying B, and then we go to the fucking alphabet, which one is true? The only reason why your truth and my truth exists is because we're not going to go find out which one is true. You want to be right or I want to be right. One of us wants to be right, but we both cannot be right at the same time. Well, two things can be true at the same time. Shut up, stupid. No, they can't. Not two conflicting things. Yes, two things can be right at the same time. The sky can be blue and you can be driving down the street and you could have on your shoes. Guess what? I'm going to give you 5 things that's true. You're driving in your car, you have on your shoes, you brushed your teeth this morning, and you're on your way to work. All that's true. None of those have anything to do to conflict with each other. So when you say two things can be true at the same time, it generally is speaking about things that conflict and or contradict each other. And two contradictory and or conflicting things can never be true simultaneously. No, they cannot be. That's just how it works. I'm not making it up. I read the stuff and I'm telling y'all how it works. So this is why, and see, explaining this on TikTok, I would have got cut off a long time ago, right? So then, look, I want to explain so much stuff to you guys, but here's the thing. If I show y'all what Google says, if I show you what the CDC says, if I show you what any fucking .org says, you're going to tell me it's not the truth because some people on TikTok said, nigga, his breath stank and his leg, one toe bigger than the other and one leg shorter than the other, and his mama fat, and nigga, that's why he ain't, nigga, and that's what made it the truth. That's what made it the truth. Because a whole bunch of people, it was told to me that you don't have good intentions if everybody else believes your intentions are not good. That it was told to me that if you think you got good intentions, but everybody else or the majority is not receptive to what you're talking about, that means your intentions were not good. That's what was told to me, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just like, I don't understand how we're here as a society, right? Like, I honestly, I really don't get it, because a lot of this stuff is very simple and it's prerectual stuff. And what do I mean by that is that these are the things that we were supposed to be perfecting as teenagers. Don't lie, don't steal, don't just take a motherfucker word for it. Like, these are the things they told us when we was like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now we just want to just take anybody's word for it because they're popular, because they're cool, because why? But here's the thing, kind of going back to the last statement that I was making. Maybe you guys don't know who Dr. Claude Anderson is, and maybe you guys don't know who Dr. Boyce Watkins was. But Dr. Claude Anderson provided Black community with a lot of economic solace and various things that we can do. Matter of fact, so did Farrakhan, right? So did Farrakhan. So now, is Farrakhan and Dr. Claude Anderson not good for the Black community because the majority of the Black people don't subscribe to it? So let me get this straight. So does that mean the stock market is not good for the Black community, even though it works and we know people is getting rich off of it? But does that mean it's not good for the Black community because we don't believe in it? Like, I am so perplexed with what people tell me in today's society, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, as always, y'all stay positive. Y'all stay productive. Remember, local elections are more important than national elections, but dollars are stronger than votes. They won't stop until we stop them. Liberation comes at a cost. Who's willing to pay for it?